Alright, welcome back to another league race this time. This is the first round of the TTML F2 Championship at Bahrain. So I did a fair amount of practice for this, but mostly on the day of the race. Mostly through time trial and then the two practice sessions TTML had beforehand. So I was debating between two setups. I eventually went with the one I originally kind of tweaked the most, I would say, from time trial and then through the practice session. But here it is. I've changed a few things. So I put the wing down to 1 for qualifying, and I put the tire pressures up just a little bit as well. So that's all I did with that. Practice sessions did not go well. They were really not great. This is one shot qualifying now. A very average lap, but we're going to see what this does. So I think my best time in time trial was a 38.7. So that's where we were standing. This was not a 38.7, but a 39.4, which could be worse, I suppose. But it's good enough for P8 in the end. So look, being in the top 10, that's all I really want, really, to at least get going. So I can't complain too much with that. But anyways, here we go for the race. Here we go then. Oh, starts in these are always fun. I'm not great at them. But here we go, 5 red lights, and away we go. Not a great first phase of the start. I think you're supposed to let it rev. You're supposed to rev out a lot more. But actually, despite how much I fell back, I actually wasn't under immediate pressure. It's only when you slow down that people can't be able to kind of dive in. When you slow down to stop other cars from stop hitting into other cars. So I got done by Maze, and then Vic Mills will get me on the outside here. So I've dropped 2 places here off the start. So not great. And I knew Maze was quick. Maze did both practice sessions, and I knew he was setting quicker times. So I wasn't confident that I could actually beat him in the race pace. But we're going side by side here with him, leaving the space. Difficult part to fight side by side, especially on kind of tyres that aren't really up to temperature properly, and as understeery as F2 cars do get as well. So a little bit of contact. I didn't want to hit him there. That wasn't my intention. But a poor exit then is going to allow Honey Badger there or Tom to go through. So I may call him Tom. And then for good measure, I think that is Paco slips up the inside. We're going to try and get a better exit though. A bit of a snap of oversteer there. And we're going to try and... It was opportunistic, to be fair, that move from him, because I was trying to slow down for the guys in front, but then the space opened up for him. But I was able to take the place back with a good run from that original braking zone. So I think this is how this first lap is basically going to finish. So it's not great. I've dropped 3 places back. Kind of tough, but a long way to go. Obviously 16 laps and obviously a pit stop to go somewhere along the way. To be honest, I actually felt it might be one of the few times I felt better on the softs than I did the mediums, but so it's it's not great, but that was not great either. But we're going to hold on to P11 at least on lap 1. So hey, we can only go upwards from here, right? No, we'll see. Anyways, moving on to lap 3 then. I was actually getting to close up to the back of Maze there. There's someone gone off there. I think, I'm not sure who it was, but it might have been behind. But I was actually getting closer to Maze. DRS down the second DRS straight wasn't really on, and I decided to let this one go because I wanted DRS for heading down this main straight here. So open the DRS, much longer straight, much more time to get into the slipstream, and he doesn't really fight it too much, does Maze. So I try and get back in to try and pick up a braking zone. I am allowed to move back over, so at this point it's the prerogative of the car behind not to crash into me. But May saw that, so that was all good. Now at this stage I was trying to hold on for this attack here because obviously Maze got DRS but nothing doing there, and then Scuba went off. I think he hit Nino in front there. He said he was looking at Jeff's recommended alternate strategy change, and hit into Nino, so that's got us up a position there. So all of a sudden we're on the move a bit here. Lap 5 heading on to lap 6. Some squabbling in front to get me within DRS, but not before the detection zone anyways. A big stop of oversteer. I see I was 1.3 seconds ahead of Wesker there, and now he's going to get within DRS range. So Wesker is overtaken then. I think Maze is actually coming to the pits. So Wesker's on mediums, and that's sort of because I was very close to DRS with those guys in front, and now next lap 6, now Wesker's all over me, having had the DRS, and he goes for the move. He could have shown a bit more patience, to be fair, since I'm going to be pitting like this lap anyways. But and in F2 you kind of want to go to the recommended window, so you have an idea. You can only pick from that. Like, this is the first lap you can actually make a stop. So, but like the move was, to be fair, if the open space was there. So he goes through and into the pits. I think my tires are just over 65%, but I probably went a little too slow in the entry there. But VSC is deployed as we're in the pits, so this worked out a treat. Very much of a treat indeed, so I lose a little less time than I would have ordinarily, but not a great pit exit. But we're going to emerge ahead of Maze, who's just coming down that straight now. So I have to try and warm up the tyres, but also get ready for the safety car, or the VSC restart. And Maze's tyres would be somewhat up to temperature, but we're able to drop Maze pretty quickly then once again. So it was over 3 point something, now it's like 5, and we've caught teammate Dan in front. And he is thankfully going to just let me go, so appreciate that. And we can carry on our merry way into P9. And I was like, please don't tell me this is how it finishes, because I'm one spot off reverse pole. I was like, well, do I want reverse pole? I was like, yes I do, as a Vic Mill exits the pits here on softs. Yes I do, in a sense, but like I was also like, oh, but my starts are so bad, I'm just going to get absolutely swallowed. I don't want to go from P1 to P6 before the end of the first corner, so I don't have that pressure. But anyways, you see there at the bottom right, I tried to check for damage. This is actually my transmission that started going, my gearbox / transmission. You can see again, it's lap 14 as a bit of a moment there for Zexer in front. He was about 3 seconds now. He's just under 2. But I was, so I guess I guess I was wearing the gearbox out. But like, yeah, Jeff says I'm pushing too hard. So maybe do I just need to short shift more, or because I need to turn in from some of these corners. Lap 15 then, again, you can see it's absolutely red. Lap 16, Zexer is actually, his gearbox actually did go. And that's why he was so slow there. His gearbox actually went. I believe it was in this race. And he was saying afterwards that his gearbox went, because I asked, like, does anyone else have any transmission or gearbox issues? And he was like, yeah, mine went. And that would explain why he was so inexplicably slow off of that corner. But lap 16 of the future race, so this is going to how it's going to finish. So a very clutch failure for me to run into a pond with Zexa having that issue, because this does mean I do get reverse pole and some points in P8 as well. So can't complain too much about that. No penalties as well, but I didn't benefit from any drivers in front having pens. So I'm actually really happy with how that race went. I'm not going to lie, like I just look at the lap times, consistent. Like I'm very happy with the consistency, because I wasn't at all happy in the online practice lobbies. Just the one warning there as well. So yeah, really happy with how that unfolded. Other guys didn't go on so well, but hey, reverse grid pole. And look at that. Oh, I saw that. I was like, oh boy, here we go. And heading on to the formation lap, I actually got the launch I would have actually loved to have. Look at that. That's exactly what I wanted to do for any F2 start. So I was hoping I could do the same. But here we go then. I hope not to fall to P6 by corner 1, but away we go. Not the best initial start. Second phase was actually okay. So Tom is going to challenge heading into turn 1, but I'm just going to take the racing line rather than try and cut him off, because I have the inside then for turn 2. So you can see then I'll pick up the throttle, and he has to back out of it. So again, get onto the power here. I have coming into turn 3 rather, it can be difficult. So, but holding on to this lead for the time being, I'm going to again take the racing line rather than cut it off, and going to hold on to it. But Tom's going to get a bit of a tighter line heading into that turn, and then ducks in behind. So we hold on to P1. I was so happy. I was like, oh, I can't believe I've actually held on to P1 for an entire lap. But now I'm going to go a bit more defensive, kind of force Tom onto the outside. Then he will have the racing line for turn 2. But if I can pick up the throttle first, maybe hang around the outside, maybe get a better run. He does get the place, but I have a much better run. He's a bit of a twitch there, so I'm going to get up into this inside line. I'm going to try to take this position back. I was very much conscious I probably would fall in this race, but I just had to do everything I could to try and fight what I could. So he gets through there. Not much I could do about that. Again, my next hope is to try and stay within DRS, but yeah, that hasn't. Well, it's okay for now, but I'm being put into the slipstream there by Siege, and I didn't fight this one. I'm not sure why. Maybe I just wanted to, I don't know. I want to try switch back here, and this is actually going to work out okay. So get on the throttle again, nice and early there. But the problem was that Siege actually managed to get within DRS as well. So, or actually can't remember if it's the same detection zone for that DRS zone. Absolute dive bomb city. I couldn't believe that when that happened. because I was hoping to stay within DRS. So look, he lets me back through, like, fair play, but I was hoping to try and stay within DRS of Siege, and staying within DRS would have really helped keep some of these cars behind me. I got absolutely swamped after this. So VSC came out there, ends, but obviously those guys are gone now, and I've got all this business behind me. The entire field is packed behind me. So Nino is the first one. A bit of contact there. Thankfully I had no damage from when Josh dive bombed. I was amazed I didn't. I'm going to try and take this position back. You have the door open, to be fair, so I'm going to try and go through it. You see Blizzard's on my outside. A tough run to leave side by side here, but I'm going to try. But I run a bit wide. I'm going to get a warning for that. Maybe a tight exit could get me something, but no. There goes Blizzard, and Scuba is going to get me. I was like, bloody hell, he's got a flipping quick sprint race. So, so I'm going to try hang around the outside if I can, but yeah, at this stage, like, I was like, oh geez, this is what I was expecting. Like, I dropped down to P6 like pretty quickly, you know, within 4 laps. So they're squabbling though. This group's squabbling. It did keep me within DRS, and that, look, I was like, okay, look, this isn't great. I've fallen down to P6 very early, but you know, sticking within DRS as Nina goes very wide there. Sticking within DRS, you know, I can deal with that. I can try and do that. I can keep with them. That would be useful. So, but anyways, Nina's going to get a better run, and even with DRS, he's going to have it as well. But I'm going to try and leave it up the inside, but he's going to have the better line around the outside, so he's going to get that move done. And I know Vic Mill's quick, I know Zexer's quick, so I was like, oh geez, if I could just finish P8, you know, I'd take that. You know, I would just take that at this stage. So why did I leave this so long? I didn't need to leave all this in, but yeah, that's where my head was at this stage. Thankfully, all these next few laps, I was actually able to keep within Nino. I think there was a VSC that just ended there, because I don't know VSC. There was 2 VSCs in this sprint race, but I just fell out then of DRS then, and I was like, ah, shit, this is where it starts, isn't it? Now those guys have DRS and they're slipstreaming as well, so I was like, ah, geez, P8 is going to be what we're looking at here. So hopes were not very high, and I was like, oh well, what can I do here? You can see my transmission is taking a bit of a beating. I don't know what to do about that, really. Maybe just short shift. I don't know. I don't like short shifting these cars. You don't get a very good pace benefit. But here we go. Then 3 wide heading down this main straight. I was hoping, I was looking so good to hang around the outside there, but the snap of oversteer lost me a chance to get back a Vic Mill, and then definitely lost me a place to Coutinho. So I was like, geez. Now I have to try and stay in front of Zexer next few laps. And I was like, okay, look, I can do that. Look, it's 1.9 seconds. You know, I can hang within that. And I've also got DRS of these guys in front. Boom. Safety car. I was like, shit. Well, he's going to be right there now. So here we go then. Restart is already happened. So nothing really didn't note with the restart. Only here as Coutinho goes off the track. I think he may have got actually penalty for that. I think he's trying to get that removed. So we'll see what happens when we finish this race. But Zexer coming around my outside. I was like, no, this isn't going to happen. Again, transmission is getting pretty beat. But no DRS because after safety car. So it is just a straight duel. And I was like, I have to keep this position. I just have to. And just trying to do everything. Of course, no fuel mixtures to play with either. It is just your traction and exit out of corners. Lap 12, final lap of the race. We're close to Vic Mill. But I think Scuba then is going to have an off. I think he may have just lost the back end, to be fair. Seeing that from my point of view just now. But I'm not 100% sure. But I need to try and get close. I was very close to Vic Mill heading up towards turn 4. But yeah, thanks, Jeff. Unnecessary damage to the transmission. Yeah, I got it. What am I supposed to do? Tell me. Anyways, heading down towards the last corner. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be content with 7th. That will do just fine. But then Siege loses the back end and puts himself into a wall. He needs out. Or maybe he need contact with someone, I'm not sure. But anyways, I was like, oh yeah, P6, nice. And then we get up to P4 after penalties. I was like, hell yes. What a fantastic result. After the absolute shenanigans that went on in this race earlier, I will happily take that. So really, really, really happy with how that sprint race turned out. Again, I think maybe it would have been a little bit easier had I had kept DRS with, I was Siege and Tom at the start, I think, of that sprint race. But all in all, things worked out pretty well, and I'm very happy with how this race turned out. So my best ever feature race, I think, as well, and a very good sprint race. Yeah, I would call this a very successful first outing for F2 of the season. So that's going to do it. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time.